Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a Walking Dead video for today with you guys. First, we're going to give our thoughts on a new promo we have for The Walking Dead Season 8 All Out War. And then after that, we'll get into a little bit about fear and discuss how we feel about the idea that fear is in a lot of ways the opposite of the original Walking Dead. And spoiler warning, of course, if you are not caught up for The Walking Dead. I'll keep it relatively spoiler-free for fear because I know a lot of you guys are not into fear. You're just pretty much here for the original Walking Dead series. And that's cool. That's fine. If you're not into fear, if you don't like, the type of show that it is and the way it does differ from the original Walking Dead, then that's fine. So I'll put the link in the description so you guys can check this out to a new kind of commercial or promo we have for The Walking Dead Season 8. They've been releasing a whole bunch lately. Usually each one just has a few little snippets of new stuff and that kind of thing, but this one has a really cool feel to it. It doesn't have that much, I want to say, that's new that we haven't seen before. A few little parts with Rick kind of looking around at one of the outposts, it looks like, probably in the second or third episode, I'm thinking. And then we get to see just some different, action shots, explosions that I don't think we've seen quite yet. Rick shooting off some of the guns and stuff, and we get to see All Out War. All Out War. It's like they're listening to what we're saying, and they're adjusting, and they're changing to what we say, and I love that. That is awesome to see. Now, if you haven't been kind of keeping up with the videos the last few months, basically one of the complaints is that they haven't really sold us an all-out war. But this commercial is exactly what I wanted to see. This is more along the lines of, I think, what we should have seen a little bit more of in the Season 8 general trailer that they released back at Comic-Con. But I just really like kind of the feel of it. The colors, everything, all-out war, just blatant right there, right in your face. Lots of action, lots of explosions, lots of shooting, all kinds of great stuff, and man, it looks really exciting. And I also prefer this Rick speech to some of the other Rick speeches about them having already won and this kind of stuff. So it's like, the war's just starting yet. You haven't won yet. You got to first win the war. So it's pretty damn cool, action-oriented promo. You guys can check it out. It's only 30 seconds long, so there isn't that much new in it, but it's fun, and decided that, we get the video for today. Start off with that at least. This is the only way. So I like it. It's cool. It's pretty cool. Next part, we'll give our thoughts on a kind of recent interview update. It's kind of same old, so we won't go too much into it. We know a lot of this already, but the question came in from Stevie B, who says, hey Trev, New Hampshire, from New Hampshire. So Stevie's from New Hampshire. He says, love the videos. Keep up the good work, man. Q&A, and please disregard if done before. Are there any actresses you think could have played Andrea better than Laurie Holden? I think she was okay, but is kind of always complaining Andrea was supposed to be around longer, and I can't help think she just didn't get Andrea right. My pick maybe would be Anna Paquin. So there is a new kind of Walker Stalker Con interview that was just posted. I think it was like today, actually, or yesterday. It probably was filmed this weekend, Walker Stalker Con. Eventually, I got to go to one of these Walker Stalker Cons. That'd be a lot of fun to go there and maybe see some of you guys there if any of you guys are going. But yeah, I'll let you guys know if I ever go to one of these because it's kind of cool. So for her, I mean, it's it's the same kind of stuff as it's been the last few years. People ask her questions, of course, and she answers. And this one, she goes into a little bit of detail about what they did with Andrea in the series, killing her off, big time early, and the changes that it made in the TV show from the comics. So obviously, she was killed off very prematurely as Andrea in the TV series. We all kind of know about this already. Being killed off by a showrunner that doesn't even run the show anymore. It kind of sucks for her. But here's the thing, okay? The TV series is different from the comics, and here's what she says. So it says, I think the whole stuff that they wrote about Andrea and the governor was complete and utter nonsense, Holden said. I did the best that I could to tell that narrative and to justify it where Andrea kept her heart. I love showrunner Scott Gimple for giving me a gorgeous death with redemption so that you understood, and she wasn't a victim. She died on her own terms, but I think there was so much beautiful narrative that was lost, and that she should have been there a long time and been the leader that Kirkman created in the comic book. So it would have been really cool to see that. I think once you start season 3, once they show her and Michonne leaves, but she doesn't. once you get to that point where she's in some kind of romantic relationship with the governor, I think it's probably already too late to see her in a romantic relationship with Rick and to be the number one leading female, just because she was with the governor at that point. Even afterwards, you probably can't have her with Rick and be Rick's wife or, this kind of thing. Carl's stepmom. I don't think you can go that way when she was already with the governor before. I think once you go governor, and she slept with Shane too in the TV series, which also didn't happen in the comics. So she's kind of like a Laurie 2.0 in the TV series. If she goes with Rick, she slept with the governor, she slept with Shane, then she goes with Rick after, it's kind of like, it doesn't make sense. So you could have had her on, I guess, as like another standout character in the series that was alive from the beginning. And it is very true with the season 3 finale that it was a big character death, and you did have that, but you just had the death of Merle beforehand, and you probably could have kept her alive, to be honest. You probably could have gone a totally different route with that, and it would have been fine. You just would have had to change her story so she's not with Rick, but you couldn't really have her be the same exactly as she is in the comics, no matter what. I don't fault Laurie Holden at all for any of that, what happened there whatsoever. I don't think that her acting was bad. I think she was great. I like to see her as Andrea. Whenever I see the TV series and see her as Andrea, I never her acting never took me out of the experience. I was always sold on it from the very first season when she has to put down her sister. I like the character. It's one of the saddest things of the TV series that she got killed off early, so she wasn't there later on, to see some of these great moments with her from the story. So that would have been great, but I suppose, it makes sense too that once she hooked up with Shane, once she hooked up with the governor, you wouldn't really want to have her be the same version as the comics afterwards anyway. So they kind of screwed themselves by diverting too much from the story. They couldn't go back. You see what I mean? Like they went too far away from the comics. They couldn't go back and have it be just the same with Andrea as it was in the comics. It just doesn't really fit properly. But I'm perfectly happy with her being cast as perfectly happy with the job that she did for sure in the first few seasons. Definitely miss seeing Andrea in the series, and do think it's one of the worst things about the TV series adaptation that we didn't get to see her become a really great character like we did in the comics. The death didn't really add that much. Like when I look back on it, so season 3 finale, instead of doing that, you could have had instead extend the battle out at the prison. Instead of having the governor kill all of it, become a team killer and kill everybody, have Rick and the group kill a whole bunch of them. Have their back and forth fighting. Don't, slow down that pace. Put that in the situation right there where you're in that, you're at the prison, they're fighting back and forth, and it lasts a good while longer, and then maybe at the end, Andrea does survive and she doesn't be killed off and you have her safe. It wouldn't be, you could do it that way and the episode would have been just about as good. You might not have that shock value, but you're killing off Milton anyway, so, you get that too, and you just had Merle, so I don't think anybody's going to complain there's not enough deaths in the death quota at the end of the season, right? So you definitely could have done that. It's a shame, but the reality is, it's what it is, and I don't fault her at all. I wouldn't switch her out for anybody else. I don't think that would have changed anything. It's just, and you could understand why she's upset even to this day about it. I mean, The Walking Dead has been a huge series. If she would be still alive in the show right now, I mean, we're talking she probably would have made millions of dollars more than being killed off. So would you be pissed? Of course we would all be pissed if it was like, here's the comic version, you're expecting to be in there for maybe 10 seasons, 11 seasons, 12 seasons, and you get killed off in the third season. It's like, damn it, and the show's growing and growing and growing, and you don't get to be a part of that. So you can absolutely understand why she doesn't feel too good about it, and also the showrunner's not there anymore. So yeah, man, I don't fault her at all for any of that stuff that happened. Of course, I don't think any of that was really her doing whatsoever. It's just that's the role of, that's the way it goes in life. Sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. Sometimes things work out for you, sometimes they don't. And with regards to this series anyway, she's still a great actress. I'm sure she'll get other parts and have a good career anyway. But definitely being one of the leads on Walking Dead, I think will definitely help out anybody's career. Look at John Bernthal's career, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's a bit, it's unfortunate, but I don't fault her at all. And what can you do? He did what he thought was best at the time. Glenn Mazzar did what he thought was best at the time to really get people into the show, and the show grew afterwards. So, it's like, did it work? I mean, the results, the ratings would show you that I guess it kind of did. Yeah. Next one came in from Kenny, who says the show can't continue for much longer without Morales. In the talk of the show continuing after Rick is gone. And I did a video yesterday. Andrew Lake can weigh in on that one. And now we'll get into a little bit of Fear the Walking Dead just for today. We got a new episode tonight, which I am actually very excited for, since season 3 has been so amazing of Fear so far, and I'm really starting to dig the characters a lot more than I used to earlier on. Like, for example, Alicia, I think, is really a standout from Fear now, whereas earlier on in the series I was like, okay, she's just like some normal person, normal girl, whatever. But now it's getting really good now. I think it's really getting awesome. So Swag Cactus says, Q&A Trev, do you think Fear the Walking Dead is everything opposite of The Walking Dead? Now, I'll keep this relatively spoiler-free. He goes, they killed off two males, right, he says, which seemed like kind of their version of Rick and Carl. They sided with the crazy killers in Fear the Walking Dead 301 instead of killing them, The Walking Dead 501. And if you remember from Terminus, Gareth had a brother like Jake and Troy, but also in Season 2, Fear the Walking Dead, instead of siding with the crazy people that thought walkers were alive, they destroyed the camp. That's true. It's kind of the opposite. Like, instead of like joining with Cecilia like they did with Herschel, they did the opposite with Fear. And also, I like the prison. I think you're getting into here. He says, looking back at it now, I think they're doing everything in Fear as the opposite of The Walking Dead, so we can see the outcome. Another example is The Walking Dead 408 living, or instead of living in the prison together, they fought, but in Fear, instead of a gunfight, they moved in and lived together. I would love to know your thoughts on this one, because I might be onto something. And I do like this one a lot, because in Fear, instead of like in Season 3 with Walker and his group, instead of being part of the prison and kind of fighting against them, it's kind of like they took the governor's offer in this situation. The governor offers, or Rick offers to the governor for them to live in the prison together. In Fear the Walking Dead, we actually get to see that type of scenario play out, where Walker and his group join Madison and the ranch, and they kind of all come in together. And it's just kind of interesting to see, that kind of situation happen. So you're right. In a lot of ways here, it is opposite. Now, not in every way. There are some very unique characters to Fear. Madison is, of course, female versus Rick's male as the lead of the series, but she handles situations way different from Rick. Rick generally is looking to do what's right by everybody and kind of go the action gung-ho, against villains, right? But mainly he's doing right by basically everybody, whereas Madison, not necessarily. She's kind of gaming, and she's using some manipulation, and she's doing some things that, you definitely would not see Rick do, probably. When it came to Season 3, when the governor wanted Rick to turn Michonne over, he didn't do that. He refused to turn, and now you see, kind of the outcome of that. She's become like his girlfriend slash, Carl's stepmom, eventually probably wife if they do the wedding thing in the TV series. We'll have to see. Maybe in a couple seasons or something. If they do, they might not do it. I don't know. We'll see. And then you compare that to Madison, where she, kills a member of her own group and then gives the head to the, takes the head and gives it to. It's kind of like, yeah, it is a lot the opposite in a lot of ways. So it's a clever catch, Swag, for sure. And I do like it, and I do find that to be very intriguing about Fear, that you are seeing them kind of go the other way. You see in The Walking Dead, generally a group of good guys for the most part, protecting themselves, defending themselves, killing when they have to. Fear, maybe killing when they don't have to, joining with villains and doing things like this. That very interesting, man. I really like it, You wouldn't want it to be exactly a clone of the original series. If you did that, then everybody would be like, oh, I don't care about this Travis guy. He's the same as Rick. He's just in this show, right? Like, you wouldn't want it to be exactly the same. So I think it is a smart move to go the other way, and that we weren't aware of that as it was happening. Like, we didn't know that we were going to see a certain character become lead of the series. A lot of people thought that they might be killed off earlier or something. So, yeah, absolutely, man. So good comment from Sway Cactus, and you guys can leave your comments below. Since we do have Fear on tonight, how you feel in comparison, the different kind of twists and turns of Fear has gone down, and comparisons of how the group in Fear handles situations versus the group in The Walking Dead, like the joining rather than joining with the villain, so to speak, and bringing the character what they want without them even having to ask, rather than Rick not handing over Michonne. A lot of these comparisons you can make of situations and how they handle them differently. Darius, Trev, why do you keep responding to negative comments about season 7 in The Walking Dead and in general in your videos? So that's one I want to include in for sure. I want to just quickly give my thoughts on this one. So I don't really. I like to include both. One of the things about the channel that I like is the fact that if you look at something like Talking Dead, they're never going to include negative criticism of the episodes. They don't really review the episodes. They kind of give you some more. It's kind of like an explain type of thing. They give you some more info. They have some guests who give you a little bit more. They make some jokes. They have some fun. They react. They reflect on the show, but they don't really negatively criticize anything in the show. I don't want to be overly negative, but I also, with the way I do this with you guys, and same with you guys, and I know you guys don't want to be either, because you do enjoy this genre, of course, and Walking Dead. But at the same time, we want to be fair, I think, too, and unbiased. We don't want to be, I don't want to be overly negative and overly critical because I expect The Walking Dead to not be a TV show and be like a movie every single week. I don't expect that. I want to be fair in the way that I view it being fair. So, negative criticisms, yes. I don't want to tear everything to shreds and treat it differently than any other TV series I review, whether it be, Gotham, Z Nation, Mr. Robot, whatever, Stranger Things, whatever else Better Call Saul. I review lots of shows, obviously. Game of Thrones, whatever else. You can list all the others too, hundreds of shows over these 8 years. But, I want to be fair, and I want to, if people have comments that are negative or things that probably could have been done better or something that got screwed up objectively, I don't see any reason why we have to avoid that or not include that. If a lot of the audience did not like season 7, and I did, because I did. You guys saw the reviews. A lot of those episodes I give very good scores to, in the 9s for a lot of them, some 10s. Like the premiere in that, right? Or very close to it for a lot of the episodes. So, I try to be fair, I try to be honest, I try to be genuine with what I'm doing here with you guys, and I try not to cherry pick only positive questions to make it all seem positive, or only negative questions to make it all seem negative, like it totally sucks. Season 7, for me, the beginning was amazing, the ending was awesome, there's lots of good episodes throughout, there's some great comedy in there, there's some good darker stuff, there's a little bit of depressing stuff as well too, though, of course, there's probably a little bit too much bottling, and I hear you guys' feedback, and I don't hide from it, I don't avoid it. I include it in the general discussion, and I don't think that I'm being unfair or I'm just bashing the hell out of it for no reason because I'm unhappy or something. It's just more like trying to be fair to everybody and how everybody's feeling and representative of, where everybody's is at in the Q&A video. So in other words, a simple answer for Darius is, I don't avoid certain people's comments just because I find them negative. If I think they're fair, then I will include them in the videos. That's the idea. Last one's from Fantasio, says, to be honest, I don't want Scott Gimple to come to Fear, in my opinion. Fear is a lot more enjoyable. At this point, The Walking Dead is just nostalgia, and I hope All Out War and The Whispers aren't trash. I've kind of weighed in on this one already, so we won't go into too much detail, but don't worry, dude. He's just an executive producer, and to be honest, bro, we should be happy. I know a lot of you guys see, I try not to avoid negative stuff, and, but really, we should thank Gimple, man. I mean, without him, we don't know if The Walking Dead would even still be on. We don't know if we would have gotten, Save the Last One, and some of the Clear and some of this really amazing stuff he did. Once he took over as showrunner, he fixed the pacing of the show to where it was like, okay, this show can go on 8 seasons. If Glenn Mazzara had kept going at that pacing of season 3, I don't know if we would get 8 seasons. We might have been in trouble at season 5 or 6 because he would have blown through so much stuff so fast to where it was like, is this show are we gonna catch up to the comics? We probably are. Whereas with Gimple, his pacing is more long term. He's got long term vision. He's really amazing, man. I mean, it's not a mistake, and this is objective too, right? And again, this is not me trying to be more positive than negative, but objectively too, he is really responsible, I think, for taking that season 3 end show, going into season 4, and taking it to new heights in season 5 and in season 7 premiere. He's really responsible for that, if anybody is. So, and Kirkman as well too, but we should be thankful from him and the work he's done, and we really shouldn't discredit him because he is a real person, and he might see that kind of criticism that you guys have for him. He is not a magic person. He is a real human being. Just because you see him on TV doesn't mean he's like I don't know, some fairy whatever god or something. People look at people on TV like they're magical or something. They don't hear the criticism that we say, and they do, and we should be respectful of what they did do and objective to. And you can say that too, that he has really been responsible for a lot of the success of The Walking Dead is due to him, for sure. So we'll see what influence he'll have on Fear, if it gets better or worse. We'll see what happens with Fear. I'm just really enjoying it right now. And of course, later on tonight, we'll be back for the review and predictions, the usual stuff for Fear. I'm not dropping it. I'm not backing away from it. I don't care if a lot of people don't like it. I enjoy it, I like it, and I want to continue doing it with you guys, so that's what we're going to do. That's all there is to it. So I hope you guys liked the video today. If you did, please thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite, and if you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, I would appreciate it, and you can do it at the bottom. That's it for this video, guys. Check out some other videos here if you haven't seen any of these, if you missed them. It's Trev, and I'm saying peace. I'll see you guys tonight.